Cassie Rott and her husband, Joey Rott, did everything right, and things seemed to go smoothly when they discovered they were pregnant. The couple performed the right tests and tried their best to ensure a peaceful pregnancy, or so they thought. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video with your friends. Then Joey and Cassie were told she was having a high-risk pregnancy as she was carrying triplets. Doctors advised the couple to induce labor early with a fertility drug, but the pregnant woman didn't want to and chose to carry her babies until 34 weeks. In her third trimester, the Kansas mother temporarily moved from their rural farmhouse to Wichita to be closer to medical help in case she needed it. Cassie had to undergo a C-section on January 29, 2016, to welcome her 3 healthy babies at 34 weeks. Joey's children were held back in the hospital under strict observation while his wife made a quick recovery and was discharged. 2 days later, the woman who'd just given birth woke to a sharp pain in her chest and her heart was racing, signaling that something was amiss. The father of 5 rushed his wife to a hospital, and a blood clot was discovered in her lungs after a CT scan. Doctors performed more tests, and after spending 2 days at the hospital, she was discharged. Cassie and her husband thought they were in the all-clear and went to the NICU to visit Asher, Piper, and Levi for a few hours. The happy parents then drove for 2.5 hours to Clay Center, where their Kansas farmhouse was based. Joey and his wife were looking forward to being met with more joy by their 2 daughters, Chloe, then 6, and Tenley, then 2. Little did they, the pair, know that their happiness would be short-lived and a dark cloud was hanging overhead. Cassie and her husband's triplets were left behind in the NICU when they returned home, expecting to go right back to the hospital for their children the next day. Being so thrilled to be home again after her second hospital stay in a short period, Joey's wife got back into her normal routine as a mother. The energetic woman did laundry, pumped some breast milk, folded baby clothes, and even baked cookies. Later, Joey went to get their older children from daycare, and getting them excited, he told them there was a surprise waiting at home. Cassie's reunion with her older children was emotional, with tears and hugs being shared all around. Chloe and Tenley were elated with seeing their mother, and she couldn't help but feel joy at being reunited with her babies. The celebration was cut short when Cassie started feeling chest pains several minutes later. She sat to rest, but Joey got her into their car and made for the nearest hospital when the symptoms remained. He drove as fast as he could, but the situation was dire. When his wife lost consciousness in the seat next to him, she never opened her eyes again. Speaking about the tragedy, Joey said, "My emotions were numb. It didn't feel real at all. It was for sure the worst moment of my life." The doctors tried their best at the hospital, and so did Joey, but nothing worked. Cassie was lost forever. The doting husband said at the time, "I was trying to wake her up. The doctors worked on her for a long time, but there wasn't a whole lot they could do." Cassie's death was not easy on those she left behind. Joey described her as perfect, one of those special people who loved others and was always willing to help them feel better. She worked as a secretary at the local elementary school and was known to help the children whenever they needed something, sometimes at her own expense. Dealing with her demise was tough, especially for their daughters, one of whom Joey admitted always talked about her mother and how she had gone to heaven. Things were difficult for Joey, who had suddenly become a father and mother to 5 children, 3 of whom needed a lot of care and attention. He had to do his morning between changing diapers, making food, and playing with his children. As time passed, he would wonder what Cassie would do when there was a problem. One day he realized she would have told him to step up to his responsibility, as it was up to him to raise the children in his own way. Fortunately for Joey, who had decided to remain in the home he and his late wife shared, friends, family, and carers have been on hand to help him out with things. Well-wishers also rallied online and contributed more than $100,000 to help him. Chuck and Barbara, Joey's, lived 7 miles away but were generous enough to come over and help look after their grandchildren. Barbara, a nurse, called the experience a bittersweet one because Cassie had indeed been a daughter to her. She also pointed out how much learning her son had to do because he only used to help his wife out. But after Cassie's demise, Barbara said, "He's the mom and dad." Despite how tough it got, Joey has to soldier on. Following Cassie's death, Joey refused to get rid of her things, which included her numerous paintings. He confessed it was too hard for him to do. However, one thing he has no problem doing is making sure his children are well aware of how much their mother loved them. After their second child's birth, Cassie told him, "If something ever happens to me, just make sure the kids know how much I love them." To that end, he keeps their memories of her alive and has continued to raise them his own way with respect to what he knew she would have wanted. Moving on after his children's mother's death had seemed impossible to even fathom at the beginning, but as Joey learned, fate never sends a person a trial they would not be able to overcome. So far, Cassie's husband appears to be on the right track. On January 30th, 2022, Joey had an amazing update to give on his Facebook page dedicated to his wife's memory. The proud father uploaded a picture of their adorable triplets on the day they turned a whopping 6 years old, meaning in 2023 they are 7. Judging from the images shared of the 3 children over the years, they've grown up happily and safely. In January 2019, the trio appeared smiling in a Facebook post while lying on the floor, with the only girl in the middle, while wearing pajamas. For 2018's festive season, the siblings featured in a professionally taken Christmas photo. The post revealed that the following month the trio would turn 3, were at a fun age, and showing off their unique personalities while growing quickly. The other great thing their father shared was that they would be starting preschool in a few months. In July 2020, the triplets were now 4 years old and were going to start 2nd grade, and their growth spurt was quite noticeable, with them featuring in several family photos. Joey also revealed he'd remarried a few years before and welcomed another child, a baby boy named Dawson, with his new wife. Their older sisters, Tenley and Chloe, were going to start their 1st and 5th grades, and all the children were doing well. In 2016, Joey showed how his family kept his wife's memory alive by honoring her for Mother's Day. The post featured Cassie with one of her older children holding a carved-out pumpkin, wishing a very special mother in heaven a happy Mother's Day. Do you agree that a person can overcome whatever trial God sends their way? Do you think it makes us stronger? If you do, share this story with friends to praise the devoted father.